mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
I haven't seen him, I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well. I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy. Is he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that question.
Oh, wow, I think he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
Hey y'all, so the defense and prosecution have arrested their case, but Diddy just seems a little bit too cool about this whole case. I mean, he's been extra calm while the feds are closing in because word in the streets is he's already lining up a presidential pardon. The details of how he pulled this off crazy work. See now, while everybody has been caught up in the raids and lawsuits, Diddy has been moving low, making calls and working his connections in DC, and now a court insider is spoiling exactly how he plans to get out of this mess. But here's the wild part, it's not about proving that he's innocent. No, this is about power, favors, and quiet deals happening behind the scenes. So how did he manage to flip this whole situation to his advantage? Well, who's helping him walk in that pardon? Let's get into it. See, everybody thought that the feds had Diddy cornered. The raids, the evidence, the lawsuits, it was looking like an open and shut case. So when they started quietly dropping some of these charges, yeah, that raised a whole lot of eyebrows. But here's the thing, the feds don't just backpedal for no reason, and according to a court insider, this whole thing is way deeper than people think. Word is that Diddy has been playing chess behind the scenes, and the real reason these charges are disappearing is it's all a part of a setup to lock him in a presidential pardon without making it obvious, of course. And trust me, once you hear the details of how this deal went down, allegedly, it will definitely make more sense. But before we get into that, we got to take a minute to talk about the feds dropping these charges, cause y'all know this has caused a whole lot of controversy because they revealed that they were dropping them. According to reports in a letter to us, District Judge Aaron Subramanian, prosecutors said they will no longer pursue theories presented during the Blockbuster trial, including that the music mogul was involved in attempted arson and kidnapping. But for context, the arson charges are related to the Kid Cudi situation. You know, when Diddy allegedly blew up Kid Cudi's car when he found out that Kid Cudi and Cassie had a brief fling. Well, the kidnapping charges, on the other hand, refer to Diddy's former assistant Capricorn, who was taken to a building and given a lie detector test to determine if she stole Diddy jewelry and Cassie when she was allegedly held at the London hotel. Now, y'all already know that Capricorn, Cassie, and Kid Cudi all aired Diddy out during the trial. The testimonies were wild, the evidence was stacked, and everybody thought that the feds had this case locked in. But then out of nowhere, they pulled a stunt telling the judge they were dropping the charges. And get this, they did it right before closing arguments, and when they were supposed to be wrapping this thing up. Now, the whole internet has been side-eyeing the situation, wondering what's really going on behind the scenes. But hold up, wait a minute, because it gets even shadier. The second backlash hit, prosecutors switched up the story, saying that they were not dropping charges, just simplifying things. And according to TMZ, prosecutors are not dropping the various sex trafficking charges, only elements of them, and specifically aiding and abetting. Yes, so simplifying or setting up the perfect excuse for getting to slide up with the presidential pardon. Now let me show y'all how deep this actually runs. See, a former federal prosecutor who has been closely tied to this case mistakenly let it slip that the government was cleaning things up during the trial. He said in order to avoid having the jury distracted by this lack of proof, they are asking that the jury not consider those acts anymore. It's a partial victory for the defense, and the prosecution is conceding they didn't submit enough proof. It's an effort by the government to clean things up. But are they just cleaning it up, or are they just working on a ploy to get Diddy out of this mess? Because think about it, if you were on the jury and you knew that they were dropping things because of lack of proof, I don't know, it's giving reasonable doubt. Well, according to a court insider, the real plan going on behind the scenes is to give Diddy a full presidential pardon. But let's not act like it's all brand new, like Diddy doesn't have political connections that run way deeper than people realize, because he has always been around politicians for as long as we can remember. Oh, and y'all want to guess who one of his closest political allies is? Donald Trump. That's who now. He kept it low-key when it didn't benefit him. But let's not act like this presidential pardon rumor came out of nowhere, because Diddy and Trump go way back. We are talking way before Bad Boy Records, way before the scandals, back when Diddy was still going by Puff Daddy and they were both running around in the same flashy circles. And to prove that they were good friends, I'm about to show you a video where Trump said that he would always stick up for Diddy no matter what. Take a look. Absolutely, I love Diddy.
Absolutely.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy.
He expects.
Is he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that
Oh,
question.
wow. I
don't
think
know.
he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
But here's what really made fans side-eye the whole situation. When President Trump got asked about Diddy's legal mess in a recent interview, he didn't shut it down. Instead, he low-key hinted that a pardon could be on the table. Yeah, he really said it. Y'all listen to the clip for yourself. You
mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well.
But if you think that that's wild, word in the street says that Diddy legal team has been working overtime behind the scenes, quiet meetings, big money favors, maybe even some political donations. They are allegedly pulling every string they can to make sure the pardon comes through, no questions asked. And if y'all think the Diddy situation couldn't get any more shady, well, buckle up, because the pieces are starting to click. According to an insider, the so-called pardon spree happening right now is allegedly a smokescreen, and the real play is Diddy. See, the insider claims the president allegedly knows pardoning Diddy outright would send the internet into a meltdown, so instead they are sliding in other celebrity pardons first, just to, warm things up, check the temperature a little bit. And y'all can agree that timing is definitely suspicious as F. In just the past few weeks, the president has already pardoned NBA YoungBoy for his weapons charges, plus reality stars Todd and Julie Chrisley after their fraud and tax evasion convictions. Oh, and let's not forget the blanket pardon for the January 6th rioters. Yes, a whole setup. Well, the insider saying it all led to Diddy. Everybody has been getting a pardon, and it looks like Diddy might be next in line, and trust me, it's about to blow wide open. So let me break down how deep this goes now. Word is that this pardon is not exactly coming for free. According to an insider, there is a dirty little deal happening behind the scenes. The feds allegedly cut Diddy a deal, snitch on other major players, and we make your problems disappear. And y'all already know that the tea has been bubbling about Tyler Perry lately. First the lawsuit dropped, then reports started flying that multiple men are lining up to make even more allegations. Well, this insider claims it wasn't random, because Diddy allegedly handed Tyler to the feds to save himself. And if you don't believe Diddy cutting deals, baby, just look at the pattern. His entire legal mess exploded when Cassie filed that lawsuit exposing him for the same type of shady behavior that Tyler Perry accuser Derek Dixon is now speaking on the streets have been saying Tyler next in line. And now insiders are claiming that's because Diddy snitched to save himself, but it has not stopped with Tyler. Word is that Diddy has been handing over dirt on other major players, Oprah, Gayle King, Ellen, even names in politics, all allegedly part of his deal with the feds. However, here is the real kicker. The insider says that this wasn't about cutting charges. Diddy was aiming bigger, a full-blown presidential pardon, and how well allegedly he has got some scandalous dirt on Trump, and he is not afraid to use it now. Look, we don't know exactly what kind of dirt Diddy is sitting on, or if he even got some receipts to back it up, but the streets, they are saying this tea is legit, and allegedly it's tied to the one name that keeps Hollywood shaking: Epstein list. Yeah, this is about to get wild, y'all, because earlier this month Elon mustered the whole internet when he basically outed Trump, claiming he's on Epstein infamous list, the one that's been missing for years. Well, Elon did not sugarcoat it either. He straight up tweeted time to drop the really big bomb: Donald Trump is on the Epstein files. This is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump. Now, of course, he tweeted and deleted hours later, but come on, y'all, the internet never forgets. However, Trump denied these allegations, of course, saying that's called old news. That's been old news that's been talked about for years. Even Epstein lawyer said I had nothing to do with it. It's old News, it's old news. This has been talked about for years and years, and as you know, I was not friendly with Epstein for probably 18 years before he died. I was not at all friendly with him. Well, according to the insider, Diddy dirt is based on Trump alleged involvement with Epstein, and he was going to use that to broker a deal with the feds in addition to forfeiting a huge portion of his fortune. But now with the reports of a presidential pardon in the works, baby, well, let's just say that he doesn't need to bother himself with that anymore, and y'all can bet that everybody he has snitched on will be more than happy about that. So now, the real question is, was this always a part of Diddy escape plan? Snitch on the right people, slide some dirt to the feds, and leverage the one thing that can make all his problems disappear, a presidential pardon? Well, let's keep it real a second for a millisecond. With how shady this whole situation is playing out, that pardon might already be locked in behind the scenes. I mean, we seen Diddy kicking with the judge, making him laugh in the courtroom and whatnot, but y'all tell me what you think about this. Is Diddy really holding some type of dirt that could really buy his freedom, or is the government just using him as a pawn to cover something even bigger? Drop your thoughts in comments below and stay tapped in, because the next video, yeah, it's going to expose the receipts messier than this. Go ahead and hit play.